WesternUnion.com VIP Lounge.
All the way live in the good old studio with all my friends and family. What's up, y'all? Y'all ready for the Super Dynamite Soul? I always wanted to say that because I see Don Cornelius used to say it all the time. He always wanted to say that. I got my man coming out here. He's like one of my new favorites, and I hope he's your favorite. He came a long way, even though he's really from here, but he's going to talk about all that. We got the one, the only Jidenna coming to the stage right now. So give it up, show some love, the way we should. Clap it up loud. Yes, sir. There he is. The champ is here. We got Jidenna in the building.
Yeah. What up, y'all? Good peoples.
Back home, got you here, man.
Yeah, man. Back in one of my many homes, but this is one of my favorite. I was just telling Big Bomb, man, this is one of my favorite places to come home. I was here almost a decade, from East Palo Alto and Oakland. South Bay, East Bay, North Bay, all over. So I love coming here. It's where I learned how to be myself. Is here.
There's a little bit of the Bay in all your music when you put it together.
Yeah, definitely. I think the Bay, home of Mac Dre, all the way back to Sly and the Family Stone. If you look at the people that come out of the Bay, it's people that have embraced their inner weirdo, their inner strange, and for me, obviously, it may look clean or whatever, but, there's nobody walking around Brooklyn looking like this. So the Bay, I moved from the Bay to Brooklyn, and this is where I really learned how to just be cool with just being wacky or whatever you are. That's the Bay Area. That's what it did to me.
Now, how hard is it to stay as clean as you stay? You can't. Do you have like days where you be like, man, I don't want to do this today. I want to wear sweats.
No, definitely. First of all, if I'm working out, if I'm I still lounge. I'm not
work out in a suit.
I'm not going to sleep. I do. I have played basketball in a suit, just cause.
With the suit coat on.
Just cause, man, with brogues and Oxfords on. But there's tricks. There's tricks. Like if you dry clean, I dry clean the suit, and then if you keep it in a little Saran wrap bag that it's got on, and you put that in your suitcase, for some reason that it's like wrinkle proof. So you could just wake right up. So I got all these little tricks.
You got all the tips to the whole thing.
And then I still put my do-rag on at night. You know what I mean? Like I got my braids on like it was 15 years ago.
You don't sleep like this, though.
Nah.
Okay.
Nah, that
would be a funny sight.
Man, if a woman catches me like that, oh, that's actually funny. I might just
put that in the video.
Yeah, I might just do that. That's good. I'm
trying to make it happen. So now you got all this wonderful music. Did you know? Because he gives me records all the time. Did you know this one was going to take off like it did? You told me when you sent it to me, but did you know it was going to take off like it's doing now?
Oh, man, you always hope for it. You always hope for it. But the music's about timing. It's all about, literally, from the moment that you make a record, it's about rhythm and time. And then the business side is also about timing. So, I hope for it, and here it is.
I tell them now, this is not like just a drop in the can for you. You really worked at this for many, many years. You rapped here, you rapped there. When did you really find your niche or what you was going to do?
To be candid, it was when I left the Bay and went to New York. My father actually passed while I was in the Bay. And that, my father's from Nigeria, and there's a proverb in Nigeria that says, I'll do it in my father's way. You're not your own man until your father dies. You cannot be your own man until your father dies. And when I was a kid, I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, I'm a man now. But then you realize that, or at least for me, when he passed, I embraced a whole other side of myself. Like, started wearing suits, for example, because he used to wear three-piece suits back in the 70s with the flared bottoms. He was disabled, so he walked with a cane, and that's why I walk with a cane. That was a turning point for me. And then I hit New York, and that's a place where you either swim or you sink, you drown. So that to me was like the last 4 years. That was when I really honed in on a sound that was combining things I got from here with the lyricism I grew up with in the East Coast, and then certain trap drums that I got from working in Atlanta with Janelle Monáe. So I'd say the last few years, and it was a blessing when Classic Man really hit and took off.
And then when did you figure that your music had to have a message where you were like, man, I'm going to be positive. I'm gonna make sure I don't sound like all the rest of this. I'm gonna have a good message to it. Because I told you earlier that you're like one of the last dudes out here that's really rapping, and it's not crazy. You know, you ain't pouring champagne on women. You ain't doing nothing crazy. You know what I mean? Like it's refreshing though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when you decide, I was like, man, this is the way I'm gonna go because there's all that out there.
I mean, we still.
You don't pour champagne.
We don't pour champagne on women. Like, that's not like a thing that we do, but we pour champagne in pop bottles and hit the strip clubs and do everything that other people do. The difference, I think, is like when I look at the people that came before me, like even as a young youth, as a young boy, looking at people that came before, in hip hop even, right? You talking about Kool Herc, African Bambaataa. These guys, they were making parties that were supposed to be safe havens for the community. They were supposed to be the places where you could come and you weren't worried about it getting shot up. And I didn't learn that like for a while. In high school, we were just talking about this, going to parties. And what'd you say, Vaughn? You said,
I didn't say I won't say in front of the kids. It don't. I said no one ever been shot at a week party.
and it's true.
You never been to some place whack and somebody start fighting?
No.
It's usually cracking.
It's true,
Right,
and
you know.
that was how I grew up. I mean, we all are to a certain extent, but that's how I grew up. And so when I started studying the history of hip hop, because I wasn't there in the '80s when this was happening, in 1979 on, it was about being cool, being safe, but doing your own thing and creating in that environment, creating dances, creating art, creating lyrics that were either party based or like the message where it was about the neighborhood, or sometimes both. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, that's what I want to do. I want to make music where you can party and ponder, where you could party with a purpose, so you can move your body and move your mind.
I heard that, especially in this day and age where politics is out of control.
Yeah.
How important is the message to the people?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to avoid it. Like, I sometimes maybe I look at other artists and I'm just amazed that you can just ignore everything and be like, yeah, I don't understand that, I don't relate to it, and I don't think every artist should be political. I don't even look at myself as a political artist. I'm a human being. So if my neighbor just got shot by an officer, or if it's an officer I knew who just got shot by my neighbor or homie, I have to address it, or I have to at least respond to it. So, when I look at what's happened in San Francisco and the Bay Area and police chief stepping down, I mean, these are things that are close to my heart and close to my neighborhood, even if I'm on the road. So to me, it's a natural thing. Isn't art and music supposed to be about emotion? And if you don't feel the emotion, then I don't think you're doing the right job. You shouldn't be an artist. Like, we're supposed to feel. That's our job, to feel for other people that may be stuck in a cubicle all day and they need to get out and let loose. That's our job. Let people dance, but also let people think, let people reflect upon the society that we have today.
So what you gonna do to help us get more informed about what we got going on in these streets, brother? You know what I mean? You got any wise words for us?
I mean, I think people are doing, the best they could do, but I will say that, this year I've been relatively quiet music-wise, and that's because I've been networking with a lot of people to try to see, what we can do beyond protest. So I've met with district attorneys, I've met with sheriffs, I've been to the White House multiple times this year, I've met with the president, I've met with the first lady, and I was doing this to understand because it's not, people think it's just about crooked cops, right? And it's actually, or they're like, there's a few bad cops out here, and it's not everybody, or not everybody's racist. But the truth is, our whole society has an issue with race. So you can't say that they're not racist when we all have these issues. So how you going to put on a uniform and then it just disappears? It doesn't, man. I have good friends on the force, and they're good people, but even they'll admit behind closed doors and behind the blue wall that they have their own issues and own prejudices just like I do. So when I was meeting with these people, I was trying to figure out what exactly we could do. And there's a whole list of things, and I'll make sure that for the rest of the year and really rest of my life that I'll be combating these issues. It's a whole system that includes San Quentin Prison, that includes our education system. It's not just police officers. It's that to me is not the complete picture. So I mean, I don't want to sit here and list off my Black Panther like 10 demands, but I definitely will be making sure the public has a plan of action that we could do. I think the biggest thing is be informed, and thank God for social media right now, because that's better news sometimes than the actual news stations. News stations look like a WWF.
It don't seem real. It's like a bad
UFC.
comedy sometimes.
Yeah.
So how important is the political thing and the voting this year for you?
Oh, it's
Are
actually,
you really deep into it? You watching every day?
Yeah. No, it's big. It's yeah. This is actually this besides 2008, this might be one of the biggest years, at least in my voting life. You know what's happening, man. My father said it best. He said the world is not about a battle between good and bad. It's not good and evil. It's about those who want change and those who don't want change. So, but everything around the world, it changes. The wind is changing. The overcast sky in San Francisco is changing today. So if you are on the side of change, you're on the side of God. Those who are not on the side of change, they're fighting it. That's how he would say it. And so when I thought about it and look at it now, when you have a woman running for president, and we're in a country that's one of the we are so far behind. There's so many other countries that have had women run for women leaders everywhere. We're talking about Europe, in Africa, in Asia. Why are we the ones that are so far behind? Women didn't get the right to vote till 1920. 1920, the same year that alcohol was prohibited. It doesn't make sense to me why we're so against it, but I get it. There's some people that have held power for a while, and when they see a black man running for president and then a woman running for president, like, oh, gee willikers, we're losing our power, and they're afraid. And they've always been afraid of women running, and they've always been afraid of black men. And I think it's very important that we go out and we go to the booths and do whatever we can do to make sure we live in a country that we want to live in and that we can coexist in. Otherwise, there will definitely be civil war, like of some sort. And maybe not the Civil War back in the day, but there will be some sort of war here because we got enough guns, too much guns, too many assault rifles. Living in East Palo Alto, trust me, I know. Like, it's too many, and I think it's important. So I mean, it's probably obvious who I'm voting for, but it's something I think is important for every single person here. And when I was younger, I'll tell you, I did not care about voting. I didn't believe in it. So you may not, but when you have an option to do that, it's better to fight it, do it, and then do whatever else you can do, however else you can influence it. Not just voting. It's about being a aware person, active citizen, however you can be.
All right. I didn't mean to bring y'all down. I just had to know who he's voting for. You know what I mean? She was like, I got to vote tomorrow. Do we vote tomorrow? I know. I'm going to get it for you. Now, your album. Do you have a title for it yet?
Yeah, Long Live the Chief.
Now, I've heard this is like the greatest thing since Lauryn Hill's Miseducation.
Oh, wow.
This is what I've heard from those of you lucky he ain't played
That's
for me, though.
a lot of pressure.
I've heard. So I want to know, what were you trying to craft when you were putting this together?
She was one of my reference points. Yeah. I mean, everything about that album, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, even the interludes. Like, I've used her as a model. Also because she sings and raps, and she was doing that earlier. It's funny, like now you'll say, oh, everybody's singing and rapping. And then you won't, and then again, right? And of course, you do this. We've done this with women all throughout history, and it infuriates me, especially because the women in my family raised me to be. I wouldn't be a classic man without classic women. My two sisters are very smart. They're bosses in their own right. Everybody owns their own business in my family. My mom was strong, especially in education. So when you look at some woman like Lauryn Hill who already did that, I had to use her as a reference point. This album is I'd say that each song feels like you're stepping into a new room, or it feels almost like Instagram where people go on vacation like, I'm in Bahamas, I'm in the south of France, and each picture you see where they're going and you're jealous sitting back at work like, oh yeah, okay.
When do you go to work?
Like, oh my God, amazing. I wish I was there. So I wanted the song I wanted each song to take you places and places that I've been. So that's what the album feels like, the adventures of Classic Man, if you will. But it also is different emotions. Some days you feel mighty. I can conquer the world. Sometimes you feel conquered by the world. So that's the feeling that I have in the album. And it's really a story of the passing of the torch between my father and me as the son.
I can tell that you got a big vision for this. Are you going to take this vision on the road with the Super Jidenna tour?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I know we were talking about pop-up shows and whatnot. We'll definitely be doing that. The album's dropping in the fall. I'll definitely be making sure to do a huge tour.
Do you have a dream project you would like to put out?
I do, but it's definitely not a clothing line. Like the biggest thing for me is when you look at like what I'm wearing right now. Like the shirt was made in South Africa. Like we manufactured it in South Africa and brought it here. So for me, one of the biggest things is circulating the dollar around the community. And it's not just where you are, but it's also for me as an African and somebody of African descent, making sure I'm manufacturing my products in Africa is very crucial to me. And I think that's important for anybody. If you're from Mexico, is making sure that that dollar is circulating around the people wherever you're from, whatever town you're from, and then back to the U.S. It's always been like, it used to be like that, but now, we outsource to certain countries, which is fine, but it's important that we outsource to where we're from as well. So I want to, that's, if you ask my dream project, it's really more about where the money flows, and where the money, where you're stacking up in those pockets. I want to make sure it's the pockets of my family, pockets of people that look like me. That's important. That's the most important thing to me. It's not like I'm with whatever famous person. That's why I haven't put it out yet, is because it takes a while to build it up yourself. But that's why I do what I do. I don't wear suits to make me look like any more fancy than anybody else. That's not how this happened, man. It came, like I said, from thrifting. It came from working with tailors who designed it. It was an inexpensive thing, and it's very important to me that people in my neighborhood can wear what I wear and not have to go to some fashion show and spend an unbelievable amount of dollars to look like this. That's not a good use of my money. Like, I don't know about anybody. You can do that, and that's cool for a lot of people, a lot of rappers. I'm not hating on that. It's more for me. That's not what I really care about. I know it probably looks like it, but it's not.
I got one more question, too, actually. Since the Classic Man's been popping, new one's popping, you're living right. How you staying slim and trim?
You know what it is?
Because he ain't gained no weight since he been out ever. I know he eating well, steaks everywhere he go.
And I'm not vegan either. Yeah, there's
So what's the secret?
Man, the secret, man. I don't really have one. I will say that I exercise. Shout out to Sean T and T25. That definitely keeps me.
You got the killer trainer, y'all. That's what's happening.
No, I'm not. He's not my trainer. Well, he's the video trainer, right?
Okay.
He does Insanity and all that. That's how I usually work out, because it's great for the stage, and it keeps me agile and keeps my lungs in shape, because there's other things I put in my lungs that don't keep me in shape. So
kids here.
Yeah, I'm talking about the air and the smog in LA. In LA, LA is smoggy.
That's what they call it, smog. Yeah.
Smog. But yeah, that's really it. Other than that, I don't know. I will say, like, this doesn't work. This is not. I was gonna say enjoy your life or some other thing. That doesn't work.
Family here.
That doesn't work.
Last
That's
one.
all.
This is the one you can tell them all. What is Jidenna's guilty pleasure? Something that we wouldn't think that you would be into.
I'll do my second guilty pleasure.
It's kids here, man.
My second, is I don't even feel guilty about really almost anything I do, but video games are definitely something that I got into music because of my video game playing. I didn't have like a, some people have a musician who used to play, a father who used to play guitar. I didn't have any of that. My father's like, why are you doing music? Like, you need to get a real job. But it was video games that eventually brought me into music. I play like first-person shooters, Call of Duty. I play all the time. I can give you my screen name if you play. I play FIFA. I play NBA 2K. I play all that. Like,
are you one of those mess talkers on the headset?
No, unless they start talking to me. At which point, I don't care how old you are.
Jidenna cussing out kids.
I'm killing you. Yeah.
Like, if you start talking, hold on, bro. Yeah, no.
Anybody can get it.
Anybody could get it. Yeah, no. I mean, that's probably my guilty pleasure because sometimes but it helps. It's like meditation for me.
That's what it is, man. Jidenna's in the spot. Album's gonna come in the fall.
Yes, sir.
Make sure you look out for him because he said he's gonna bring something special to the Bay Area when it comes. So y'all gonna be ready for that, right? Yeah. Give it up for Jidenna one time, y'all.